A to P was like an experiment without bounds in a way. And then Feralfile has been a more focused experiment. We've been doing it for over 2 years now in terms of launching exhibitions. We've had 33 exhibitions. They've all been different, different formats, different ways of seeing how we can run exhibitions in the browser, different ways of structuring the way people can collect the work.
This is actually one of the most kind of personally fulfilling parts of my job, and being exposed to this like wonderful space of digital art and NFT collecting is that you collect not just like one thing or two things, but like hundreds of artworks, and just the relationships that I've built with artists.
And I think we've learned so much over the last 3 years and over 2 years of running all of these exhibitions. I think we've figured out what we think is unique about us. We figured out like what our priorities are. And so we're launching Feralfile, what we call Feralfile 2.0, as a way of like putting those priorities forward.
It fixes a lot of technical issues that we saw, but the main thing it's doing is it's trying to go back to the basics and really capture this unique perspective that we think we have, and hope to contribute there.
Some of the things that represent Feralfile 2.0 are really focusing on group exhibitions, having the curator's vision and having a group of artists that they bring in. Also having the work be collected in groups that we call sets. So like now when people collect, they'll be collecting one artwork from every artist in the exhibition. And I think that's really an interesting thing. And it's about equity, the idea that each artist in the show receives like an even split from every sale that happens, I think is a really exciting idea.
So if you go back to this original A to P concept of artists creating and collecting together, and then the jump from A to P to Feralfile, which is artists creating, collecting together, plus the artist contract. If you go back to this, like, and you say, well, what is the artwork? Like, what are we actually doing? Well, in many ways, the exhibition itself is the asset. Like, the exhibition is the interesting thing here. This curation is happening at the exhibition level, and we felt that the best experience of Feralfile would be to collect the whole show.
Another thing about Feralfile 2 is that instead of like having one file that we make many copies of, every single artwork will be a unique piece, and we call those series. So each artist will release a series of works. So for example, if it's 60 different artworks, they'll be related to each other, they'll be similar to each other, but every one will be its own unique take on whatever the idea the artist is working with. And that's something we've done a lot in the past, but now it will be throughout every single exhibition on Feralfile.
What was really unique about this format was an artist could produce a work that maybe had 100 editions, maybe 1,000 editions. 1,000 seems to be kind of the upper end right now, at least. And everyone that owned that was part of a community instantly because they own it, but they also had something that was unique, that was just theirs. And so you had this really kind of wonderful tension of, I have something, this is mine, and we're all in this together.
It feels like the moment where things are in place for things to really happen. And so I think that's largely what the last couple of years have been around. And of course it's surged and it's crashed, but I think as the nature of cycles work, I mean, I've seen this happen multiple times now, and I think things will continue to raise, and I think the work will really start now at this moment.
For tens, hundreds of thousands of years, humans have created art, and like, this is really like the next movement of art. I mean, I'm completely convinced of that. And we get to play a small role in that. That's what I'm most proud of.